Hello, everybody, and welcome back to What's Your Point? I'm your host, Kaylee, and today I have a special guest with me who's from the KGB Show.
It's true. It's Kaden here. How's it going? Today we are going to be talking about the Travis Scott incident and what happened with that. It's going to be great.
Yeah, so Travis Scott came down to Houston, Texas, and hosted...
Well, he's from there.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he was on tour for Astroworld, had a concert in his hometown of Houston, and as you guys have probably seen and heard by now, a lot happened. A lot went down.
Yeah, so while he was performing, people were live tweeting from the event, as they do, and many people started just passing out and dying. They reported that about 8 people had died, but people going to the event said well over 100 were just dropping like flies, honestly.
Yeah, so there's a couple different theories. You know, it could have been laced blunts or whatever. There's also the theory of someone going around and injecting people. Nevertheless, it was very demonic from the start. Just from the jump, you could tell that bad things were going to happen.
Yeah, somebody actually posted on Instagram like a 7-page story about what they experienced while being there. And they talked about how they were somewhat close to the front and, you know, people were pushing. Even before the event started, people were pushing forward. And so everybody was like shoulder to shoulder. You couldn't move your arms. You couldn't move around at all. And it became very hard for people to even breathe. Even though they were outside, like, people were squished. And I've been to a few concerts before where, you know, we've been super tight and stuff. And I've seen people pass out, throw up at these events. But this one, with the videos that are circulating around on Twitter and Instagram, like, there was definitely something weird going on there. The energy was just completely off. And many people on social media have said that there was definitely some dark, evil vibes there.
I mean, yeah, and you could see it from all the symbolism, right? I'm sure everyone by now has seen the comparison of Astroworld. So as a lot of you have seen, the symbolism from Travis Scott and Astroworld is resemble a lot of demonish things, right? So we saw Astroworld, you know, how you go into Travis Scott's mouth. If you saw the way the stage was positioned, if you saw his t-shirt.
The way the stage was positioned was really scary because there's a picture of it from above and it's like an inverted cross, like going into a cave. And it's just like, it's too creepy to be a coincidence.
It's true. And like, did you see his shirt?
Yeah.
So his shirt was people who were blue and they were walking through this portal and then they would turn into red and grow horns. So there's a lot of satanic stuff involved. As you saw, Travis Scott did not stop the concert, but I heard a couple years ago, his shoe got untied and something to do with his shoes. He ended up stopping his concert for it, but he won't stop his concert for dead bodies.
Yeah. There's many videos that just show him standing on stage, like continuing to sing and like doing weird stuff. Like I did see a video where apparently as soon as somebody like died in the crowd, he started saying some weird ritual stuff on stage and he just like wouldn't stop. And there were people climbing up the ladders of the people working the concert, the people who had like the cameras and stuff. They would climb up the ladder and like notify these people and they're screaming that these people are dying. And one person even said that the camera guy told them to get off or they were going to push them off the 16-foot ladder that they were standing on. I definitely would give caution to anybody who wants to go look at the pictures on Twitter of the people dying, the videos and all of that. Like, I'm putting out a warning. Like, it's graphic. It's very graphic. And it's probably something you don't want to see. But if you do want to see it, go look on Twitter. All you have to do is type in Travis Scott Satanic and it pops up.
I mean, and you can see this throughout the whole music industry, right? It's not just Travis. We were listening to a song the other day. It's 679 by Fetty Wap, right? And like right in the beginning, very quietly, it says, "I'm a devil worshiper," right? All these people that you listen to, all the content that you're consuming is satanic.
Let's not forget the music video, Montero, that came out by Lil Nas X.
Yeah,
he literally He literally is with the devil in the music video. This stuff is like right in front of your face. And that was at the same time that he came out with those shoes that had the blood in it. And it's like all of this stuff is right in front of your face. It's right there. And people continue to just like see it, blow it off, be like, oh, that's quirky and cool and creative. But in reality, it's like the best thing that the devil did was convince you guys that he's not real. The best thing he did was just show you that it's just one big joke, that it can be influenced within society, and nobody cares, and everybody should care.
Well, I think part of that has to do with the right not taking a hard enough stance on it, because a lot of the right consists of neocons and these libertarians. So they go, oh, like, as long as it's not affecting me, like, it's fine. Just, like, do whatever you want. But that is a very, very liberal mindset to have, right? Because inevitably it will affect you, right? And if you've seen, like, people won't just do stuff in the privacy of their own home. In order to justify their degeneracy, they try to normalize it on society, and they've succeeded. Why? Because we have seceded.
Exactly. That's why I could never consider myself libertarian, because there are many, many strong stances that I take on certain issues, and I really don't think that I could sit back and just idly watch libertarians know that something is wrong. There's nothing worse than knowing something is wrong and then not doing anything about it.
Hashtag so true. Everybody knows it.
So I'm going to go full conspiracy theory on you guys for a second.
It's not a conspiracy if it's true and everybody knows it.
True.
The dark web is real.
There's a lot of evil out there. There's a lot. And we all know that celebrities sell their souls to the devil for fame and money and power. It's within the elites. It's within the celebrities, in the Hollywood and music industry. That's blatantly what Travis Scott has done. Like, it's just so obvious. And I don't understand how these everyday, average, normal people don't see this. We talk about this a lot. We know a lot, and we've seen a lot. And it worries us that the everyday, average person goes about their day pretending like they live in this little bubble where they don't really see anything going on. They pretend like they don't know what's going on so that it makes their lives more comfortable. When in reality, what we're trying to do is talk about the fact that this stuff is in your face and obvious, and that we need to do something about it before the world continues to go down.
It's true, and we could see this from earlier aspects of the situation, right? Who was it? Britney Spears, I believe?
Yeah.
And there was some guy that made a big conspiracy video on it. It's that one guy that did all the conspiracies. He's gay, and he's now wiped off the internet. But this conspiracy was obviously true, right? Because she sold her soul to get fame, tried to get out of it. What'd she, like, pull all of her hair out or something? Shave?
She had a complete mental breakdown.
Yeah.
I mean, Amanda Bynes did it.
Mhm.
Lindsay Lohan did it.
Mhm.
There's this whole conspiracy that they sell their soul, and then they have, like, a certain amount of years where everything's good. And then once, like, things start, like, I don't know how to explain it, but, like, after those said years, they start, like, having mental breakdowns and just completely, like, losing it. And then you kind of have to, like, resell your soul, but, like, make the commitment again. And then everything's, like, perfect. I mean, there's a whole list of celebrities.
Well, yeah. So if you guys know who Lil Uzi Vert is, he was able to get out of his little deal with the devil. But he said multiple interviews that at 27, he was going to give his life to the devil.
The 27 Club. Many, many celebrities have become a part of the 27 Club. My personal prediction is that one young artist that I know right now who probably is part of the 27 Club is Billie Eilish. You guys need to look out for her. Look at her music videos. Listen to the lyrics that are in her songs. She's not 27 yet, but you can put money on it that she will probably no longer be here by 27 because she's talked about it in her songs.
No, okay, so what she's referring to with Juice WRLD in a song, he said...
We ain't making it past 21.
Yeah, we ain't making it past 21, which is true. He died at 21. His situation is very interesting as well.
His lyrics and his songs are...
They're all shitty celebrities. I don't even like them.
They don't even have good music. Like, it's very repetitive and annoying.
Well, do you know, they sold their soul to the devil. They don't need to make good music. The devil will run up their numbers, run up their wealth, and eventually take their life.
And it's scary. Like, it's terrifying. And you're probably wondering, oh, what does music have to do with politics? Well, like he mentioned earlier, we want to bring awareness to this kind of stuff. we're both Christian, and so we can see the good and evil. And clearly, in the world today, I've always said this, Satan runs the world. God has power over everything, but Satan definitely controls the majority of the world, if not all. And people continue to give him power, not even because they believe in him, but because they don't. That's the real issue here. Is everything is taken as a complete joke because it's advertised in movies, in songs, in TV shows, on social media. It's everywhere. So not only is it evil that's within the industry, I mean, the things that Hollywood and the music industry promote are things like drugs, partying, sex, alcohol, all of this kind of degeneracy.
I mean, it's all Satanism in and of itself.
Yeah.
If you look at what the Bible tells us, it tells us that, well, not necessarily alcohol, right? Alcohol's in the Bible a lot.
Right.
But drugs, mind-altering stuff is against God, which means if it's against God, it's for Satan. There's no middle ground there.
And use that logic when it comes into all political ideologies, like who's promoting abortions? The Satanists, for example, support abortion. If Satan is on the side of anything, I'm against it completely, 100%. It's not a debate. It's not an argument. If Satan is supporting something, or if the people of Satan are supporting something, I'm completely against it.
I mean, and that goes for everything, right? So we've seen the American regime get taken over by the globalists, right? So right now, like Russia with their porn ban, right?
Mm-hmm.
These different countries, you might say like, "Oh, you wouldn't support Russia." No, I love America, but the fact is, Russia, China, these countries are doing better than we are in supporting its own people to stay away from degeneracy.
It's very important that us as conservatives hold each other accountable for the actions and the things that we do, because as a whole, no matter what libertarians say, no matter what the left says, as a whole, everybody's actions affect each other. So people down the street doing God knows what, being involved in Satanism, having abortions, all of society's actions end up coming back onto everybody. And for the conservative movement, it is very important for us to stand our ground. And we may come off harsh and we may come off mean. And people call us racist, homophobic, xenophobic, all of it. But at the end of the day, the conservative movement is the only movement that actually genuinely cares about the people.
Speaking on that point where people call you this, people call you that, there's only one right answer to respond, and that is yes to these claims, because they will not change their viewpoint on you. They're just trying to get a response, and they're trying to put you in the defensive. So when these people say these things, just say yes.
Yeah, there's no arguing with the left. There's no arguing with your everyday average liberal. There's no arguing with your everyday average person, especially about hot topics like this, because they choose not to see it. They may know it's happening and choose not to see it because it makes them feel comfortable not knowing what's actually going on in the world.
And that's true, and that's been that way for a long time. I think it started in America with the boomers, right? Because we will never be able to feel the prosperity that they felt. We will never be able to be as successful as them because of our society that has bred degeneracy, because they didn't want to take action. And now our job is to clean up the mess of them, so our children will be able to succeed.
And we're past the point of just letting things happen and,
Or even debating.
Yeah. Because, I've had many debates with people talking about, why do you want to ban this and ban that and force this on so many people?
They're just trying to get a response. No matter what you say, their mind will not be changed because they've been raised and bred to think a certain way.
Well, look at the world right now. Look how much stuff the left is pushing onto us. The only fair way to fight back at this point, because it's gotten that bad, is push back 10 times harder. As a whole, I think we all collectively agree, things like porn, things like gay marriage, things that are not normalized. If you have to normalize something, it's not normal. There's no reason to normalize something if it's not normal to begin with. These things need to be banned. They're pushing it on your kids. Look at the porn industry. Look at how it's implemented also into Hollywood. You see it in movies. You see it in songs. They talk about sex, drugs, and everything. That's bad. That's just bad. There's no argument. You can't argue with me on that. It's just bad.
So the reason these celebrities are selling their soul to the devil is for personal gain, but what these people are promoting, right, with the drugs and all that, is what the globalists want, which is for them to be mindless, for them to not be in the know, because the globalists, it used to be good for them to have people on the ground working, right, build a prosperous country, but now that's not the case. It would be better for them to say, hey, let me give you some funding, right? You don't have to work. Just sit on the couch, smoke some weed, and eat these Cheez-Its. And that's what benefits them the most because they're not worried about what's actually happening.
Look how easy it was to convince you to stay inside for a year and a half and wear a mask. Look how easy. There's still people wearing masks. We are about 2 years into this pandemic, and we still see people wearing masks. I get so irritated when I'm driving in my car and I look over to my left and there's somebody in a car wearing a mask. Why are you wearing your mask in your car? Look how easy it is to control you. Look how easy it was to convince you, scare you, beat you into submission to listen to whatever the government says. It is insane. I was driving the other day and there was a guy next to me in a convertible wearing a mask. A convertible! He was outside and he was wearing a mask. Make it make sense. It's so easy. With you people who are very easily convinced and just listen to whatever you hear on the news and listen to whatever you hear on TV in general.
So about the listening to everything you're told, like, you can't even blame these people really, right? Because school, we are trained to learn false history, learn false science, learn all these things that we're not supposed to learn. So we're taught to learn false science, learn false history, all of this stuff. We are told to memorize, right? School is just a memorization game. Listen, take in the information, and do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. As you see with California with their Common Core curriculum, these people just want to train you to listen. That is the whole point. You'll never use the information that you have. Even history, for an example, everything is taught wrong. A lot of what's taught in history is just pure lies.
So yeah, kids are influenced from a very young age, and that's why, again, in the conservative movement, it is very important for us as traditional families to teach our kids and raise our kids up right with traditional biblical values that they can implement into society as well.
So it's really interesting topic with the schools, because I shouldn't have to homeschool my kid, right? I should be able to have my kid go to a public school so they can learn normal social cues, be a normal, regular human being. It's at a point where you really can't. Like, you have to homeschool your kids at this point if you don't want them to be indoctrinated by the system.
And speaking on that, my hometown middle school, along with a lot of different towns in Texas, North Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth area specifically, have had these books found in their schools talking about, like, gay people. There were very graphic pictures within this book and, like, just a bunch of disgusting stuff. And they're giving it to middle schoolers. Parents, please check the books that are in your school libraries. Please look at your kids' phones and see what they're seeing on their social medias. Okay. It's sickening.
Quick shout out to Sean McCrossan, because I saw this graphic on your Instagram the other day. 40% of 18 to 24-year-olds identify as LGBTQ in the USA. That is not normal. That should not happen. It should be like 0%. But these kids, like, you can't even blame them, because they don't know what they're talking about. They are taught to think this way. If you go to school, right, and you have no political affiliation, none of your parents are influencing you, and you just go to regular public school, you will inevitably come out a liberal, just by the way school's taught.
And all of this, again, is completely influenced by the elites and celebrities and Hollywood in general. Mm-hmm. Look at...
It all ties back.
Yeah, it all ties together, because, perfect example, JoJo Siwa comes out as lesbian. How many fans does she have? She has millions of fans. And how old are they? Between the ages of 6 and, like, 13. So now you've got these girls who are huge fans of JoJo Siwa who are going to be questioning and confused.
Like I said before, it is also the fault of the right? So we, for some reason, supported Caitlyn Jenner in California, right? I don't know why, because that shows that we seceded on the gender issue, if gender's even real. Yeah, I mean, you see these situations. So right now, for example, Joe Biden in today's current political spectrum would be considered a centrist. Yeah, which is pretty unbelievable because most of these libertarians, right, 50 years ago be considered leftists. Not leftists, but left leaning, even the right leaning libertarians in today's society. And everything has shifted left because we keep seceding on issues, right? We seceded on the gender issue with Caitlyn Jenner. We seceded on, for some reason, racism, which hasn't been a topic since I was born, since you were born, since most of us Gen Z and younger millennials. Race was never a question, but for some reason now it is. And just because the left is pushing it, we have seceded on that issue. We've seceded on gender roles in families, right? Women going into the workforce and having school and work as their top priority. But yeah, speaking of women's roles, you know, if a woman wants to have a hobby, right? If she wants to
have a podcast,
even have a job, right? It's totally cool, but raising your kids has to come first.
That's number one. That is our main role. It's the motherly instinct that we are born with. It is ingrained in our brains to raise kids, take care of our families, and be loving and nurturing. So with all of this being said, Satan controls the world. Satan is everywhere. God is everywhere, and it is very important for you to turn to him because the world is only going down from here. It's only going to get worse.
And I mean, as we've seen, it goes full circle. Anywhere from kids in school to rappers on stage, it is becoming more and more present. And people are seeing it, yet nothing will happen, right? Travis Scott isn't going to get canceled. Or he'll be, you know, canceled or whatever. But he's going to drop his next album and everyone's going to listen to it. You know, his views will probably go up. He'll probably make more money from this situation.
Conspiracy theory, this was all just one big publicity stunt in order to get his name more out there than it already is.
Another publicity stunt. The election.
Anyways, these people are trying to indoctrinate you. They are trying to bring you down. They are trying to literally manipulate you into thinking a certain way. And that's why we're here doing what we're doing. Kaden, I want to thank you so much for coming onto the show. Make sure to follow the KGB Show. Kaden, will you tell them everywhere that they can find you guys?
KGB Show on YouTube and Instagram, personal Instagram, Kaden Lopez.
I'll add the personals into the bio. Y'all can scroll down, look at it. Don't let Satan influence you. Do not let the media influence you. Do not let the music that you listen to influence you.
So true. In 2 hours, I will be going back to Texas. Gotta take a flight there. We'll talk later, boys. I will be on a future episode. Everybody knows it.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. Make sure to click the links down below. Find their socials. Find my socials. Go follow the Instagrams. Make sure to go check out the previous episodes. Talked about things like abortion and immigration policy. All kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week.